Hello everybody, my name is Naya and I'm the Black female engineer. I provide content for new and aspiring software engineers, and today is going to be much more relaxed, more of a conversation. I'm going to share with you my experience with a 6-hour interview day, a super day they call it. And I thought that this was, just right timing and everything, because you know what, today is Super Bowl day and I'm talking about my own super day. So I was like, you know what, let's chill, let's just have some fun today, and let me just share a story with you all. So let's get to it. So this happened this last fall. It was the end of October of 2020. I had just finished my coding boot camp at Flatiron School, finished that the first week of October, and I had been interviewing with this company that is my dream company, dream company. And I assure you, all of you know it, or if you don't know it, you interact with it without knowing it. And so one day I see an email pop up saying that I got to the third and final round of interviews. And so I was just, so ecstatic, so excited. Until, I read a little bit more down. I was scrolling up, and I saw the time commitment. It said 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. So, you can imagine my own, shock and, stress levels when I saw that. This is actually something I've been through in the past. This is called a super day interview, where you have, anywhere from 4 to 8 hours of interviewing. I've been through about 3 other ones in the past, back when I was a college student. I remember going on location to a company to interview from literally 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I ended up not getting the job, but I'm not bitter. But yes, this is something some companies do. This is to allow for different departments to, get to learn about the candidate, get to ask the candidate different things, and for everyone at the end of the day to come together and see what they thought about this person and decide if they should give them an offer. So it's not something I, was estranged to or, didn't know about, but still, y'all. Sorry, I'm moving my foot. It's falling asleep. Y'all, 6 hours is a long time. So the day before the super day, I was, and other candidates were given a Hackerrank problem to do. Hackerrank, if you don't know, is basically a portal or resource that people can use to brush up their coding skills and better their algorithm skill sets and things like that, learning coding problems. But it's also something companies use to basically filter out candidate pools by sending them coding problems. And so Hackerrank sends you a problem. They say you need to solve this between this time and this time, and you have X amount of time to solve it. And everything is administered typically through the company. Like, they set the expiry date, they set the time limit and everything. Hackerrank more just administers it. And so we get sent a Hackerrank for the day before our super day. And y'all, so this Hackerrank, I ran out of time before I could even finish it. I was given about 2 hours, and I got about halfway before I was like, yo, I'm just going into this loop of just not knowing how to continue on, and while also producing the best quality code. That's the thing, you want to produce the best quality code during these Hackerranks, not just solve the problem. But it's also hard because you have this, when you're on Hackerrank, there's this clock in front of you that's just ticking down by the second, and it's just this big red reminder of basically your hopes and dreams slipping away. That's how it feels. And so my time ran out and I didn't finish it, but I was like, you know what, it ain't much, but it's honest to work. So sent that over and was mentally preparing for my next day of interviews, my super day. So now it's the day. It's game day. Like, we out here, coin toss, flip, everything. So it's game day, and my first interview was a technical interview, which I was supposed to go over the solution I produced this previous day through the Hackerrank, walk through it with them, and they would give me a question as well, and I would answer it on the spot. I was so nervous because that morning before the interview even started, I get an email. And the email is like, oh, Hackerrank score and everything. I'm like, perfect. I see this email. Y'all, I got a 0 out of 75. That was my score that Hackerrank gave me, a 0 out of 75. Now, remind you, I got about halfway through the problem, but it looks like these people didn't care. It looks like Hackerrank did not care. You know, you didn't solve the problem, so it's a 0. So that was, you know, when I saw them, my heart dropped, especially because like I was over here like with, you know, baking my eyes and like all that, my hair up, like with my beauty blender preparing for this interview. And then I see this email and I'm just like, I might as well not even show up. I might as well not even go. Like a 0 out of 75. And so I was very, very scared. But funny enough, so let this serve as a lesson to you all. Funny enough, I get to the technical portion of the super day, and they actually my interviewers actually say that they were impressed by how far I got. So keep this in mind, y'all. Sometimes the problems you get are not meant to be solved. They are problems that the company is expecting you not to solve. And really what they might be testing is your ability to go about problem solving when you're, you know, in high pressure situations, your ability to think about ways to solve it, even though you don't know how, but think about what approaches you could take. And all of that. Sometimes it's not actually meant to be solved. So next time you're struggling during a coding interview, just have that attitude. Like, you know what? They're not expecting me to solve this. So let me make sure I show them anyway what type of engineer I am and the way I go about my problem solving, you know, process and things like that. Next was a portion where we were put into teams and we had to basically produce like a case solution to a problem we got from the interviewers. And so if you've ever done like a case study or if you've ever done like business challenge problems, it was like this, where they give you a problem and you conduct a whole full solution, procedural, financials, and put in a presentation. And then you, at the end of the day, you would end up presenting it in front of the like 50, 60 different members of the teams. So this part was okay. I remember like making sure I like stayed active and, you know, staying active but not, you know, trumping other people's ideas, because that's not good. That's not what a leader is. You don't trump people's ideas, but staying active and being able to facilitate conversation and discussion. So that was like really like what I was trying to do there. So that was okay. Then I go to my behavioral. And so I get to my behavioral, and for the most part, it was good. So for me, behavioral interviews for me is like what carries the team, because I know I do get frenzied with technical questions and things like that. I know I get like very panicky that I can't even think. But behavioral, I just like to show who I am as a person. I like to share what I've done in the past and share what I'm looking to do in this company. And so I like behavioral in that way, and behavioral has liked me in that way. However, so this entire video is going to be like, da, 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 da. However, like that's going to be this entire conversation. However, with this behavioral interview, I kept like, I don't know, I think it was because I just wanted this company so bad. I would kind of like say something, then like get into this like hole of like spiraling and just talking, and like I could hear myself talk, and then like outer me would kind of like move away and be like, yo, like stop talking, like end the question. And I would just like try to now wrap it up, because I see this outer me saying, yo, what are you doing, like stop it and everything. And so like just like talking and just trying to show these people who I am. So after that behavioral, Then we were supposed to go back into our teams for the case analysis, have another like maybe hour to go through there before we present. This is where all hell broke loose, y'all. Like all hell. I lose my internet. So this is something, I forget when listening to stories. We're, in a parallelogram, in a panda bear, all that. And so everything was virtual. I didn't, get flown out to the offices or, to the company for these interviews. Everyone was virtual. So I was in my basement. Yeah, and I'm just like, what happened to my internet? Like, nothing is working. Flashback to my other 3 interviews with different companies. I have a 2-year-old baby brother, y'all. He is a very adorable, like, light of my life. Except for the times where he comes into my interviews. And if my parents are watching this, like, you know how I feel about this. Because at the time, I was living at home. I no longer live at home, but at the time I was living at home. And so I would tell them like, yo, like I'm going to be in an interview from this time to this time. Make sure the baby's away and like, please be quiet. Like, because you could hear footsteps like crazy. You could hear if people were talking, if the baby was crying, you could hear it, and you could hear it through a computer as well. And so I was like, please, like be quiet and like, just let me have these 30 minutes, this 1 hour. 3 times my baby brother has come into my interviews. And I'm like, yo, like, where were you? I told you. Like, this is my job. I'm trying to get a job. And you can't watch this 2-year-old for 30 minutes. Like, please, watch him. And so for this interview, because they knew, how much I wanted this, they decided to just leave the house. They were like, you know what? We're not even going to be around because every time we're around, something goes wrong. So they all left. Except for my dad. My dad had, I believe, worked the night before. And so he just, he needed his rest. And so he was in their room sleeping. So, but everyone else is away. So the internet goes out. And I'm like, oh my God, like so first thing I do is I text the recruiter and I'm like, yo, I'm so sorry, like my internet's not working. I'm gonna call the provider and see what's going on. I run upstairs to my dad and I'm like, the internet is out. Like what's going on? And so he calls the provider and they're like, it says your internet is fine and everything. And so then they try to like reboot everything. And I keep just texting my recruiter, like, I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be meeting with my team to practice our presentation, which is like one of the like most important parts of that interview and everything. Like, I'm just like, please, like, I beg of you, like, please, get back, get this internet back and everything. An hour goes by, and now I have like, I want to say like 10 minutes before, not even 10 minutes, y'all. Like an hour goes by, and so I missed the slot for me to meet with my team on our presentation. And now teams are actively presenting to the boards and like the workers of this company and everything. And so after an hour of like just constant like going back and forth and all of this, I get my bag, I get my computer, and I drive. I get out the door and I drive like a mad woman to my nearest Starbucks. Luckily, I live like 2.5 minutes from a Starbucks, so it really took like no time at all, especially with the way I was driving up in these streets. So I drove and set my computer down, put up the Wi-Fi, because I knew Starbucks had free Wi-Fi, and so put up my laptop to get free Wi-Fi and everything. And I show up, but I get to the video stream, or the virtual meeting of, this last section of the interview, which was the presentation. And it was so embarrassing because now I got there literally just in time for us to present. And it sounds like I'm saying like, oh, just in time, but really it was like 30 minutes. No, I was just in time. I get there, I text my recruiter, I'm like, I'm here and everything. And now we're supposed to be presenting. It was so embarrassing because I get there and my team is like, hey Naya, you are doing slide 5 and 6. in front of everybody, like in front of like the, and I'm not blaming my team, but I'm saying more of a thing of like now, like how like everyone knows how I'm unprepared for this. And so I'm in front of 50, 60 people and I have no idea what slide 5 and 6 are. So now I have to pull up the slides, the Google, luckily it was Google Slides, so like no one had to send me anything. So the automatic, loading and all allowed me to see the most recent version of the presentation, look up slides 5 and 6, and I am reading it over, and I'm just trying to like see how to present it in a way that shows I'm not just reading off of it, and I'm actually, I actually have some cells up in here too, and show that I would be a great person for this company. And so, now it's my turn for the slides, and I talk and I try to add in some background information just from what I know of the company. And then, I breathe a little bit because I'm like, okay, like my part is done. And yes, then we're done presenting, and they asked a question, just like, those like panel questions, So they asked a question, and I made sure, you can best believe I made sure to answer that question. And so I made sure to answer the question, talking about like more like inclusivity and all of this. And they're like, thank you, like that was great. Da, da, da. And so now I'm in my car waiting for the phone call as to if I would get the job or not. The reason I was waiting in my car is because I had an offer expiring 30 minutes after the end of this super day. And I had said this to the recruiter that I have an offer expiring just 30 minutes after. Please tell me as soon as possible if I get this job, because if I don't, then I'll take this other one, but I want you. So I couldn't even bring myself to start driving. Like I sit in my car and I call a few friends and I'm just crying, just saying like how bad this day was. Like everything, like just bad. And how just frenzied I was from everything, from the technical interview, me, showing me starting out with the 0 out of 75 to then lights literally going out, and me having no way of, being a part of this interview because now I don't have internet, don't have, all of this. And having to drive to Starbucks where everyone sees I'm at a Starbucks. Everyone sees I'm at this public location with literally, I remember this so well, with Bruno Mars playing in the background when I'm trying to give my portion of the presentation. Like, it was just like, I was just crying. And so then I get a call from my recruiter and he's like, hey, yeah. The thing about my recruiter, so I have loved interacting with this recruiter. He is someone who obviously cares about the applicants and the contenders. Is that, I feel like I'm talking about like Hunger Games if I say the word contenders, but about the future employees of this company, the future engineers. And so he is someone that like I also just didn't want to disappoint, you know what I mean? Because like now we had been talking for like a month now from my first interview to now, and like I just now didn't want to let him down. And so I remember listening to him and like he had like a very monotone like voice, and so I was just like, it's over, like you should just text me the rest, like you don't need to tell me like how you chose someone else. Like, and but he's like, yeah, so we loved you, and we'd love for you to work with us, and this is the salary, and we'll send you more information later. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you later. Goodbye. And I was just shaking. I remember screaming. Have you guys seen that video? If you haven't seen this video, please look it up. It's this woman who got out of an interview and like got on a call, like on the phone. The person said she got the job or something, or she walked out of the building having gotten the job, and she stops in the parking lot and is just like dancing. Look it up. Look up like maybe like woman who gets job dancing in parking lot. It is the funniest video. That was me. And it's funny because like this happened like a week within each other. So I remember that. I remembered that video in that moment. But I was just like, like in my car. And I remember just like, yeah, like if someone's looking at me in my car, just like going wild, like I was just so happy. And I have not lost that feeling since then. Just so happy. Looking back, I do see how like being hard on myself negatively impacted the experience, because like they very much put weight on like trying to make this as enjoyable as possible for people. It is, 6 hours, but it's 6 hours for a reason. They're trying to get you to know more about the company, and for the different departments and different department heads and coworkers to know about more about you in the most fun way possible. And so I wish, like knowing what I know now about like what they truly wanted to see out of me, which was, potential for growth in a person who they would just like to work with, I would have, been much less hard on myself and much less like in my head. But no, I am so, so grateful for that experience, for this company. Like, I am so excited to work for them, and I'm so grateful for my recruiter. If my recruiter is watching this, like I'm so grateful for you, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. I still, I hope you're doing well. I do think about, the next time we get to talk and interact, because like speaking with the different members of this company, and the recruiters and the managers, it was just like it's looks like such a family and such an amazing community. And so I'm very, very grateful to be a part of that. And so, yeah, that is my 6-hour interview story, my super day on the day of the Super Bowl story. So no, I hope you all enjoyed this like more relaxed conversation. And yeah, subscribe if you'd like to, just hang out some more, be a part of this community. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye.